All right, good afternoon. Man, we're just had a few days off now, a couple weeks. We're ready to get back on the field and play. Well rested team now, and last week I thought you guys did a great job coming out and working. I think a couple of things we were trying to get a few things to get better at. You go back in the off week, you always look and see things that maybe you're a little deficient at, and certainly worked on those things. And then we also scrimmaged the young guys 3 days last week. And got some good work out of them as well, which is fun. It's always good to see those guys and see progression that they're making. So that was good. But we're excited to get back at it. Playing a home game in front of our crowd, which is always awesome. Our 15th consecutive sellout, which is great. And homecoming, so there's always a lot of festivities surrounded with that. But and I'm sure we'll have some guys that'll come back. It'll be good to see. I haven't met several that I'll be able to meet, so that'll be great. And so we're excited about that. As you're heading into the another conference game, we you look every week and see how even this league is and how many teams can win, and and it just shows that you got the team that makes the least amount of mistakes, I think, is usually the ones that end up winning. I told our team Sunday there was the 5 teams that won this weekend created 13 turnovers compared to 2, and I think that's a huge difference. Obviously, if you take care of the football, you got a chance to win. And and I think you go back to our last game, the same stat was true. We had the block punt and the pick six. They didn't have any turnovers. And I think that's obviously a huge thing. I mean, because you look at us offensively and defensively. I mean, total defense, we're number 2 in the Big 12. We're 12th in the country in total offense. We're doing some good things offensively and defensively. Obviously, you got to score more and hold them to less. But I think it comes down to taking care of the ball and creating those turnovers defensively. I think that's obviously a huge thing that we have to do better at. And those are things that we try to work on this past week. And Iowa State, I mean, they've won 2 games in the Big 12, doing a lot of great things. I think Coach Campbell and his staff have done some good stuff. I mean, they got a young team playing a lot of young players, including the quarterback, and the way they've won is what I just talked about, making teams make mistakes, and them not making mistakes. They have not given up a sack this year. Or 3 sacks this year, which is really, really good. Have not lost a fumble this year. That's how you win, and they're doing some really good things with that. Defensively, I think it was finished top 6 or top 3 in defense in the Big 12 in the last 6 years. So they're always good. Have been good on defense. It's a unique defense, of a little bit different than what a lot of teams play, based out of a 3-down. They'll drop 8 a lot, and then just do a number of things. So basically playing on 5 DBs back there, and they do a really nice job defensively. And it's a great challenge again for us, but we're glad we're playing here in our stadium.
It looked like offensively they started to figure some things out against Oklahoma. Did you see another progression last week from them? Because it looked like you mentioned the youth, their youth on offense is maybe starting to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, probably. I think I think the quarterback's starting to get settled in there. I thought he played well against Oklahoma State. Sat in there and threw some nice touchdown passes and big plays in the passing. And I think they want to run the football. They're going to do some things offensively. Getting some unbalance and shifts and motions and all the things to try to mess up defenses, and then run the ball. But their quarterback has done a really nice job of finding their receivers and making some big plays, and I think that's given them a great chance, and they've won a few games that way. Even in the Oklahoma game, I mean, it's a 21-20 game with 6 minutes to go in the first half, and it kind of got away from them a little bit there, but I still think they're a team that plays with a lot of pride, and they play hard, and I think they're getting better offensively. It gives them a chance to win.
Does it help knowing Matt Campbell from 2009 and looking at that was a heck of a staff there?
Yeah, we had a good staff. Yeah, we had a fun staff. Their offensive staff. There's 4 head coaches off the offensive staff, and a lot of good guys and that have done a lot of great things in the coaching profession. But enjoyed my time there working with Matt and the other guys as well. Does it help you? I mean, I don't know if it helps. I'm just familiar with him, and I'm familiar with how he runs his program. And how they're coaching there. And we got a lot of respect for them. And they've been really, really good at Iowa State over the years. And they've taken a lot of players that maybe people didn't want coming out of high school, and they turned them into great players. So their development's really, really good. Purdy, who's with the 49ers, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now, of course, played there, and they did some great things when he was there. And now they got another kid who's very similar, who's a freshman, very young, but making a lot of similar type decisions and type throws. And just again, a lot of respect for Matt and how they run their program.
You mentioned you had a scrimmage with a lot of the younger guys. Who were some younger guys that really popped off the page or gave you some clarity through the next 3 years to expect something?
Yeah, I mean, Barry Jackson's a guy. We saw him in the EKU game. Hadn't played since then, and he got some action. I think he scored a couple of times. Whenever he touches the ball, he's very electric. Masari is another receiver that has been great for our scout teams and for our defense, and he was a guy that I think he scored a couple of touchdowns as well. Bird, running back, I think he did some really nice things, and even to the point where we may end up traveling him and could possibly see some action in the game. I thought he did some really nice things. And I think defensively, there's a lot of young guys and several different ones I thought made some plays out there, but I think more than anything, I think it was the receivers that I thought that were doing some nice things out there in those 3 days we scrimmaged.
Iowa State, Jeremiah Cooper leads the nation with 4 interceptions on the season. What stands out to you when you see him on tape? Yeah,
I mean, he's very athletic, has good hips, can run. They're an aggressive secondary. They're physical secondary. They're going to mix it up with the receivers. There's a lot of tight throws. There's not like where you have some big windows there. They're tight throws, and they're on their guys pretty heavily. And he does a really good job of at that safety position over a number 2 receiver of really just coming down. And teams are trying to throw, little 8 to 10 yard routes, and he just jumped them. He did against Oklahoma. It was a nice little pivot route by Stoops, and he undercut it and picked it off. He's got nice anticipation, and the way their scheme, their safeties have an opportunity to get interceptions. The way they rotate their safeties and roll their coverages. And I think number 4 is the guy you're mentioning. I think number 17 is another guy who's made some great plays in the run game and in the pass game. And I think it's their scheme. They do a nice job with that.
Scott, some coaches during a bye week may schedule a fun team bonding something just to break the monotony of the season. Do you subscribe to that typically, and did you guys do anything differently this week?
I think the fun was the young guy scrimmage, which to me is a great team bonding because our guys that have been traveling and playing, they're all right there, and they're like cheerleaders out there. I mean, they're right behind the offense and defense, and just after every play, I felt like guys are going up and dapping them up, chest bumping and all that. And I think that, it's only for 10 or 15 minutes at the end of practice, but it was awesome. Like, matter of fact, Sunday we came out and practice, and a couple of the older guys, Coach, we're going to do the young guy scrimmage again today? Like, they love it, So to me, that part's been fun. I think more than anything, we use it as a time to rest, recover. So our guys were in the training room, in the weight room, just doing a lot of rehab and things to get their bodies healthy. Had a few meals together as a team last week, but I think more than anything that the bonding part was and the fun part at practice was the young guy scrimmage at the end.
On the top,
your teams have traditionally produced a big number of 40-plus, 50-plus yard plays, usually among the most in the country. That has been lacking over these last 3 weeks. Is there any point of emphasis in a bye week where you can kind of examine maybe what was missed, or were the plays there and you weren't making them, or how do you diagnose that?
I think one thing is we don't have explosive running backs. That's a big stat. I go back to my offenses over the last 10 or 12 years. We've had a running back over the years that can go 80 yards. Our guys will get you the first down, but we've seen it this year where, we break out for a 30 or 40 yard run and then we're getting tackled. But I think that's one thing, the reason why you don't have the 60, 70, 80 yard plays. And then, we've had some opportunities in the passing game for those. I can recall at least 4 that we didn't connect. whether we get hit, the quarterback gets hit, or we overthrow it, or something like that goes wrong within the play. And, I think that's been the difference in the big plays, and if you get a couple of those, man, certainly be sitting here a little bit differently right now. And they're out there, and I think we're close to hitting some of those. Hopefully this week we'll be able to hit those. I think, you're just one step off, or there's it's just a small little fine window to make those plays happen, and hopefully we'll be able to get those.
On the topic of the open week, it was a lot of talk going into BYU that there was a lot of fatigue on this team. Some guys were banged up. How timely was to get the bye for you guys?
Yeah, I think it's a good time. I think middle of the season, whether it be after the 5th game or 6th game, right in there is probably the best time to do it. I think we were banged up a little bit last week, and we're getting some guys back, and I think they're feeling better. You're still going to have some dings and bruises at this point of the season. It's hard to get completely healed up. But I think we're, as healthy as you can be at this point in the season. And after a week off, our guys, you kind of renew your mind as well. I think the mental part of that, I think also helps. And so, hopefully today we'll go. I think we'll be flying around today. I thought Sunday was really, really good. And so I do think we're, where we needed to be this time of year as far as health goes.
What was your kind of message after BYU to the team now that they've had like 2 weeks to get ready for their next game? What was the goal you wanted them to accomplish?
Yeah, I think the bye week was any deficiency that we had. We self-scouted the whole team, and where we have some deficiencies, we got to get better. We've given up some big plays, and particularly third downs and long. We got to get better at that and not giving up those first downs. Obviously in offensively, it's short yardage and red zone. Those are the things we worked on in the bye week. Hopefully have a better plan as we head through this second half of the season. And the message is to, taking care of the football and creating turnover. Those are the two things that we have to do a better job of. And like as I mentioned earlier, this is that's the big difference when you're playing very competitive teams and on a weekly basis. It comes down to those few mistakes. And so the team that makes the least has got the best chance to win, and that's how we have to be better.
A tough 3-game stretch, but in your first year as a head coach at App State, you started 1-5 and rattled off 6 straight wins. What do you remember about that time, and maybe what adjustments you had to make, and how it's shaped you as a coach now?
Yeah, I think during that time, it was hard. Anytime you're going through something, you're not getting the victories that you want. And I think a lot of times everybody, and that's what everybody cares about. Is at the end of the day, the wins and losses. If we make the field goal against Miami, okay, that's we beat them. We played pretty good in that game, but you beat them if you make that. You didn't, so now people tend to think the sky's falling. And I think the message was back then, and it still is now, is continue to doing the things that we're doing. We're doing some really good stuff, and we were back then. You just couldn't get over the hump. and I think once you realize that you make a few more plays in a game, that's the difference. You don't go over, or you don't have to overhaul and do all this crazy stuff. We've done a lot of really, really good things. And so you just continue to do the things, and you just try to fine tune and get better and better each and every week in the things that you're doing. And I think at the end of the day, certain players have to step up and be able to make more plays. Who are those guys? And I look back at that time, at App State, and there were some guys that ended up stepping up and started to make plays. They got confidence, and then you go on a roll, and you feel like nobody can beat you. And it's such a fine line for that. And so I think it's just continuing to work and continuing to believe in what we're doing. And, and that hard work will pay off.
A lot of football over the weekend. Do you take anything from that Oklahoma game where you still held them to 20 and you were minus 2 defensive starters?
Yeah, it just says that we can compete and we can play at this Big 12 level. We can compete with these teams. It was a great football game, and and I look at it. It comes back to turnovers. Texas, the first 2 drives threw interceptions, including one inside the, was it 10-yard line, and and Texas was able to get back to it because they blocked a punt and scored a touchdown, and so. And it probably wouldn't have been as close as it was had they not done that. But, what it says is that we can go out and compete with some of the best teams in the country. I don't even know where Oklahoma's ranked now, but probably pretty high. And you go out there and you go toe-to-toe with those guys, and a few plays here or there could have been a different game. So, again, we're not that far off. We got to continue to do the things we're doing, continue to fine tune, in all three phases, and find a way to make one or two more plays in every game. And, we're sitting here and you can go win some games. There's no question.
Shamama Taylor had a big game against BYU. Can you just discuss his importance to the offense as well as going forward, how to get him more involved?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's continued to get better and better. And I think, I still think he's not even scratched the surface of where he can be. I think he can be, one of the better tight ends in this league. And he's got the size, he's got the hands, speed, and so it's good to see him make plays, because I think that gives him some confidence, to know that, man, I can do this. Let me continue to work hard on my game, and we can certainly utilize him. But I think he's a guy that puts pressure on the defense because of the matchup problems that it happens with him. He's a 6'4", 6'5", 250-pound guy that can move, and so we're finding other ways that we can get him the ball and produce. And I love the fact that he caught 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's the thing that we've been striving to do, is obviously to score, and to be able to utilize him when you get down the red zone. I think is going to be a weapon for us as we move forward.
When you were asked about 50-plus yard plays, one of your answers was that you don't have explosive running backs here. You brought in a lot of transfers. Why wasn't an explosive running back higher on the priority list?
Well, we had, I think we got 5, maybe 6 on scholarship. You just can't get overloaded in one position. And not to say I don't believe in our guys. I believe in our guys because, we're top 12 in the country in rushing. So, they're doing something right. It just spoke to the big play. The 60-yarder, the 70-yarder. I'll take 25-yard runs, 30-yard runs. We'll take those. And those guys are running hard. You never question that. And so, but I think, we felt that those guys could come and help us win. And they have. They've done a great job. It just speaks to the 60-yard play, the 70-yard play, the 80-yard play, where it takes guys that are, have that elite speed at that position.
When you do recruit, how much do you take speed and explosivity into account as opposed to other attributes that a player could have?
It's pretty high priority. Now, I don't think you can't just have, all 175-pound dudes that can fly. You better have some guys with some size and strength as well. So you want some different tools in the toolbox. I think you want to be able to have a little variety. And that goes for receiver, that goes for running back, your tight ends. Sometimes your tight ends are great blockers. Sometimes they're very good at stretching the field in the throw game. So to me, you want to have a little bit of utility players in a lot of different areas that if you need to dial somebody up to knock the top off, you better have a speed guy. But if you want a good guy underneath, you better have a guy that's got great hands and good spatial awareness. So there's just a lot of different things that you're looking at when you're going out recruiting.
Any other questions?
All right. Thanks, guys.
Where you get a week off to kind of reevaluate and go through some things. Do you feel like this offense is close to maximizing its potential? There's been a lot of good things, but just some things that are missing.
Yeah, I do, honestly. And I think our best is yet to come. I think we had a couple games to figure out exactly what we need to improve on and different ways to improve on it. And, just looking back at, some of the games, a lot of it is a lot of little small details that get cleaned up. I'm feeling definitely confident about the future.
Coach said their defensive scheme is a little bit different than what most run. Do you see any? Obviously, you don't want to give it away, but does it look like something you can penetrate?
Yeah, this is honestly like the first time me playing against this type of defense. They play a 3-3-5 defense, 5 in the back end, 3 down defense, 3 linebackers, and I definitely think some of the things we can do and things we have been doing this past season will definitely be efficient in this game. We just got to make sure we execute and, like I said, just take care of the little small details.
There were 2 crucial plays at BYU where you couldn't convert, one to Peyton Singletary and then one to Corey in the red zone. Mm-hmm. When you go back on the film, is that a point where you say, okay, I need to take a little bit off that ball, or is that something where you're honest with the guys and like, look, it kind of hit you in the hand, so you have to catch it?
It's kind of the first one to Peyton, that was more so me. I feel like that was me not putting the ball exactly where I know I can and where I have before, So that was kind of just me. and he expected to make that play himself, so he was down about it. But like, it's kind of on both ends, and even with the one with Corey, I mean, I put a lot on it, which I feel like I had to, and that's a tough catch. I wasn't mad at him because it was a lot on it, but for him, he expects himself to make that catch. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's all just like just being like self-critical in all areas, and just finding ways to just make it happen at the end of the day.
Iowa State comes in third in the country in interceptions. What have you seen from their back five on film?
They do a lot. They got a lot of guys back there. That's the thing about running that defense is really used to stop the Big 12, like RPOs and all this type of stuff. We're not a big RPO team, but really you just have to be careful throwing the ball every single play. They got a lot of guys in the middle of the field. You know, they get to the flats really good, so they cover the field really good. You know, we just have to have to be on time, you know, and be very accurate.
Coach Satterfield just mentioned how teams in the Big 12 who create turnovers are ones that are able to win the game and limit the turnovers on the offensive end. Do you feel that way as well as a quarterback of this team? If you limit the turnovers on this offense, you guys are able to put some more production on this field a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. I think Coach Sat, he made a statement about this past week, the Big 12 games. I think he was like, all the teams who won, they created 13 turnovers, and all the ones who lost, I think they had like multiple turnovers. Like, and I mean, I definitely think that's very valid. Even with the last game, I think me not throwing the interception that went back for a turnover, that went back for a touchdown, and even the special team turnover. I think just taking those points away, I think we win the game. So yeah, that's a very valid point.
When you run, you don't slide. What's your philosophy on trying to squeeze out every yard as opposed to trying to protect yourself?
I've always been that type of runner, honestly. Just because I feel like when I take off running, I'm just playing football at that point. I'm a running back with the ball in my hands. There's times that I dive at the guy's feet just so they like can't, you know, like use their head. They can just fall on top of me. But that's my kind of way of sliding. That's only when it's like multiple people around. But no, I'm not looking to slide. I'm trying to fight for every single yard.
Shaman has kind of become a big play guy for you over the past couple weeks. Is that just the connection and the confidence growing between the two of you that he's going to be there to make a play?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think it's the confidence growing between us and even the coaches. You know, Shaman, he was learning a lot throughout spring and fall camp, and he struggled a bit, and he kind of got down on himself a little bit, and I think that when he started like listening more and doing the right things, being exactly what he's supposed to do, I feel like he understood like how that helps him and even how it helps us as a team, and I think he gets that now, and that's why he's performing the way he is.
Something as simple as the 2-point conversion against Miami, like start building that confidence for him where he says, okay, like maybe a light bulb goes on.
Yeah, definitely. Like literally just something like that may happen, and it's a switch. And I think that was just him actually being in the end zone and catching the ball and you know, feeling that excitement from his teammates and from his coaches. That's a real confidence builder.
No team likes losing, but a 3-game slide, a lot of times teams will go back on things that they built. This team is made up of a lot of transfers with a new coaching staff. How are the guys handling losing the last few games?
It's not fun. Excuse me. It's not fun at all. But I think we have guys like me who have been in this situation. You know, we got some older guys who transferred in, and we kind of understand that every week, especially in this conference, like every week is going to be a battle until the end. And I think just preaching that and preaching the importance of all the little details, because when you look back on the film, that's all it is that we're messing up on, like the little small details in critical situations. So it's like, you know, just understanding and realizing that as a team, and you know, just improving and getting better, finding ways to get better every single day. I think very helpful for us.
Like you mentioned, you are one of those guys who does have that experience as a captain on this team.
Mm-hmm.
What are the conversations that you've had, especially during a bye week when you have time to right the ship?
During the bye week, it's mainly just make sure y'all take care of your bodies. You know, it's a long season. We got through the first 5 games, and you know it's gonna be even tougher going forward. We got some tough opponents coming up, and you know just trying to be healthy and staying healthy as a team moving forward, and you know just getting away and trying to like getting away from football a little bit, and then coming back and making sure we're dialed in for the rest of the season.
The morale right now.
Right now it's pretty good. You know, like I said, like just you know, I think we got guys that understand everything that we've struggled with in the past couple games, and I think we understand that now. And now it's just like dialing in on every single little detail just to make sure we come out with a win.
Off the field, campuses respond to the highs and lows of a regular season differently. You've been on a couple different ones. What have your experiences been so far amongst fellow students?
Haven't really paid that much attention to it. You know what I mean? Because I mean, at Florida, I kind of struggled with paying attention to it, you know, and then that kind of seeps into your head. I feel like you kind of start believing some of the stuff you read, and you just feel from other people that are not inside the building. You know what I mean? So I try not to pay attention to it too much.
No Twitter, no IG. How do you handle that?
I mean, I'm on Twitter, I'm on social media, but I try not to research. Try not to research about us as a team, but you know, I see some stuff here and there, but you know, I try not to let it bother me.
Anything else? All right, thanks, everyone.
All right, thank you.
Hello, everybody.
You've had a slew of these noon kickoffs. What do you think about getting up and playing football, or would you rather play later?
It really doesn't matter for me. You know, whatever time it is, we line up, we play ball. I like playing in the sun, though. I'm used to it.
You like playing in the sun?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to rain.
Is it raining this week?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
How you like the rain?
I'm fine with it. Line it up and play.
Mentioned you guys did a lot of self-scouting during the bye week. What did you see not only from yourself and the defense that you guys can improve on?
I definitely see personally that, well, me and the team speaking as far as the defense goes, like it's just a lot of the little things, you know. I feel like whether it was me personally or the defense or even the team, like maybe one small detail that we might not have keyed in on enough, you know, throughout the week, it shows up in the games. So for me personally, I might have been one step away from a sack, you know, and the defense one play away from keeping them out the zone, you know, and just so on, like just the little things.
Heading into Iowa State this week, what's stood out to you about their offense, and what have you been able to see on tape from them?
I think that they're a really good group, honestly. Their O-line does a great job, you know, protecting the passer, you know, making sure that he's not getting sacked. And their running backs and everybody who carries the ball, they do a good job of taking care of it. They don't really cough the ball up that much, and they're a disciplined team, so they're a really good opponent.
Defensively, Coach Satterfield talked about, you know, trying to win that turnover battle. Sometimes getting a turnover is like, you know, hitting the lottery, you're getting lucky. As a defensive player, doing everything the team's trying to do, how do you take that when Satterfield gives that advice?
I mean, it is tough to take or force a turnover, but I mean it happens in the game. A lot of times, like we try to focus on, you know, being in the right spot, because when you're in the right spot and everybody's around the ball, things like that happen more often. You know, we kind of say as a team that the ball finds energy, so have that energy and be around the ball, and it'll come your way.
Speaking of energy, you know, after going on a losing skid, no athlete likes to lose. Going into the bye week, this team is made up of a lot of guys who weren't here before. transfer students, a new coaching staff. What's morale like right now, especially not having, a long history of this group of guys together?
Mm-hmm. The morale's still fine, honestly. I think it's good. Everybody's focused. Everybody's locked in. Like we're all hungry for a win. We know what we needed to correct. We've been working on it all week. We took advantage of the bye week doing that. And I think we're all just really focused and hungry for a win.
Iowa State doesn't have an offense that throws it 50 times a game, but over the past couple weeks they have hit on a lot of big plays. Is it just assignment football because they're trying to maybe hit you over the middle and then turn it up for 40, 50 yards?
Mm-hmm. It's assignment football and playing off of each other. And in the secondary and the linebackers, we have to kind of move together on a string just about, to make sure the coverages are right and things like that. So I think it's really just how we play off of each other.
Anything else? All right. Thanks, Dorian.
Thank you.